Welcome to our Modi Briefing Show. Today, we're diving into the exciting developments in U.S.-India relations. U.S. Vice President JD Vance is in India, and both leaders are working hard to push forward a trade deal that could reduce tariffs and boost economic ties. With negotiations aiming for a fall finish, this visit is all about strengthening cooperation in energy, defense, and tech, while setting the stage for upcoming visits and summits. Stay tuned as they try to turn these talks into solid agreements. Next up, Vance's 4-day trip is packed with meetings, sightseeing, and speeches. He's meeting Prime Minister Modi, visiting iconic sites like the Taj Mahal, and discussing how to avoid U.S. tariffs while enhancing defense partnerships. Despite some trade tensions, both nations are eager to deepen their strategic and economic bonds, aiming to double trade to $500 billion by 2030. It's a busy time for U.S.-India diplomacy with big goals on the horizon. And finally, the broader picture: this visit could be a game changer for trade negotiations, potentially leading to a significant boost in bilateral relations. India is looking to lower tariffs and protect key sectors, while the U.S. seeks more reciprocity. Although challenges remain, the hope is to reach an agreement by September, making this a pivotal moment in U.S.-India cooperation. Please continue to stay tuned for more details. According to Nikkei Asia, U.S. Vice President JD Vance's visit to India marks a pivotal moment in the evolving trade relationship between the two nations. Modi and Vance have expressed optimism about the progress made in their negotiations, emphasizing efforts to foster fairness in trade and expand defense cooperation. The discussions are set against the backdrop of mutual interest in avoiding steep U.S. tariffs, with India considering significant tariff reductions on U.S. imports, which totaled $41.8 billion in 2024. While the U.S. continues to criticize India as a tariff abuser, both sides are eager to finalize a trade framework within a 90-day window, aiming to boost bilateral trade to over $500 billion by 2030 and deepen strategic ties, including defense procurements and technology collaboration. Vance's visit, which also includes cultural engagements and regional diplomacy, is seen as a strategic move to set the stage for future high-profile meetings, such as President Trump's planned visit and the upcoming Quad Summit. Al Jazeera highlights the personal and diplomatic significance of Vance's 4-day trip to India, emphasizing the warmth and strategic importance of the visit. Vance's arrival was marked by a warm greeting from Modi, symbolizing the strengthening of ties between the two countries. The discussions focused on enhancing bilateral relations, with India poised to reduce tariffs on U.S. goods amid ongoing negotiations to avoid the tariffs imposed earlier this month. The visit also underscores India's role in the broader regional strategy, especially as it seeks to counterbalance China through its participation in the quadrilateral security dialogue with the U.S., Japan, and Australia. Despite the absence of formal deal signings during this visit, both nations are working toward a framework that includes defense collaborations and supply chain integrations, with future visits by U.S. officials expected to advance these goals. From Reuters, the narrative underscores the diplomatic dance amid a looming threat of U.S. tariffs and the strategic importance of India in the U.S.'s regional and global ambitions. Vance's visit is portrayed as a critical step in solidifying the India-U.S. partnership, especially as Washington seeks to counter China's rising influence in the Asia-Pacific. Modi and Vance discussed regional and global issues, reaffirming their commitment to dialogue and diplomacy. The visit also serves as a platform to bolster defense collaborations, including the procurement of advanced weaponry and co-production initiatives, which are expected to be furthered during upcoming U.S. defense visits. Both sides are optimistic about reaching a comprehensive trade agreement that could significantly increase bilateral trade and strategic cooperation, with the visit acting as a foundation for future high-level engagements, including President Trump's anticipated trip to India and the upcoming Quad Summit. The South China Morning Post reports on U.S. Vice President JD Vance's visit to India, highlighting its potential to accelerate a long-awaited trade deal amidst tensions over U.S. tariffs. Vance's trip, though officially personal, involved meetings with Indian leaders like Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Security Advisor Ajit Doval, signaling India's seriousness in progressing toward a bilateral agreement that could significantly boost their economic ties, with bilateral trade reaching $129 billion in 2024, and ongoing negotiations to expand trade fourfold by 2030. Both nations are eager to address tariffs. India's exports to the U.S. include gems, textiles, and auto parts, while the U.S. seeks lower tariffs on whiskey, automobiles, and farm products. The article describes India's cautious approach, balancing the desire for favorable terms with domestic political concerns, such as farmers' protests and visa issues for professionals. Experts suggest that a preliminary trade agreement might be announced by September, possibly during a Quad summit in Delhi, with the negotiations hinging on U.S. tariff revisions and India's willingness to reform certain sectors, especially agriculture, amid fears of backlash. The Toronto Star details the death of Pope Francis at age 88, marking the end of a transformative papacy characterized by humility, compassion, and advocacy for the marginalized. The first Latin American pope, Francis's health had declined after a prolonged hospitalization for respiratory issues, including double pneumonia. World leaders and religious figures expressed deep admiration. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi praised him as a beacon of compassion and inclusive development, while Ireland's Foreign Minister Simon Harris and Italian Premier Giorgia Meloni lauded his efforts for justice, peace, and dignity. Many recognized his influence extending beyond Christianity. Ursula von der Leyen called him an inspiration for the entire world, emphasizing his humility and love for the less fortunate. Despite his global impact, critics from the Women's Ordination Conference lamented his reluctance to advance women's roles within the church. Tributes poured in from across the globe, with leaders like Macron, Israel's President Herzog, and EU officials acknowledging his legacy. His final public appearance was on Easter Sunday, just before his passing at the Vatican, where he was celebrated for his service to the poor, his advocacy for interfaith dialogue, and his efforts to foster hope and mercy worldwide. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6DO team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and the specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6DO Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6DO team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6DO Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6DO Brief via email.